So recently I've been seeing a lot of videos speculating on what each of the members of Kep1er will do after they disband. So how about we actually rank the groups and solo artists that came out of the similar groups, IOI and izone. These are groups that actually exist, it's not speculation. And some of them I stan, some of them I hate, and some of them I question why they did what they did. We have 5 tiers today. They range from I stan, which is pretty self-explanatory. If I stan them or I'm close to standing them, they'll go in that tier, to who, which is also pretty self-explanatory. I ranked everyone in the order that their IOI or izone member debuted, so like the date that they joined the group. And this only applies if they had a Korean debut with music, so not counting anyone that just did acting or is active in Japan. And I also included IOI and izone themselves, so we have a point of comparison. Trust me, it gets spicy. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm putting IOI in pretty good because I liked most of the stuff they had, but their career was just unfortunately short. There were only 3 real comebacks. Well, 3 not comebacks, like including their debut, they had 3 real releases, because I'm not counting Downpour, their disbandment song. And then the comebacks they did have did not feel cohesive whatsoever. All the companies thought they were going to flop and planned the releases accordingly. You can't convince me that they completely thought through Dreamgirls before they released it. I mean, what even is that intro with the yelling? And a sports concept? I don't know what's happening there, and don't ask me to explain it. That being said, Very Very and What a Man are both quite iconic. I have to give IOI credit for what they did, because without them, we wouldn't have any of the future survival shows and the groups that came out of them. So, like, the group themselves and their releases might be average, but I felt like giving them some extra points, much like some Mnet executives did for later produce seasons, but we're not going to talk about that. Let's move to the next group. Okay, this group is going in who, because I only just found out today that it's pronounced Dia and not Dia, and also you would be lying if you could name any of their releases other than Woo Woo and Woo Wah, especially if you're a newer K-pop fan. Clearly, they only ever get anywhere when they release songs that start with the word woo. Dia started strong, but in the past few years, they haven't done anything, which is mostly their company MBK's fault because, for those that are unaware, MBK is very incompetent. There was even a time where Chaeyeon, which is the member from Dia that was in IOI, she performed in Music Bank on the same day, the same show, twice, because she was in both a Dia comeback, which was Mr. Potter, and was also promoting Very Very at the same time. Like I said, MBK is very dumb. When you look up Dia on YouTube, you just get some Korean YouTuber. This group is never going to come back ever again, or if they do, there is no way Chaeyeon is going to be in it. Every now and then, I see another member has left the hellhole that is MBK. I'm pretty sure half of them have left at this point, and when I hear that, I cheer. Chaeyeon should run far, far away and never look back. Next group. Gugudan gets pretty good because that's what they are. They're pretty good. They are a group which burned very short but very bright. They only lasted from 2016 to 2018. I think they officially disbanded in 2019, but they were active until 2018. And most of their releases are on my playlist because I like them quite a bit. They really peaked in 2017 and early 2018 with Girl Like Me and then The Boots and Chocome. Whatever. The song about chocolate has been one of my most played songs by any group, not just by the groups on this list, for several years running. Not That Type felt like a last-ditch effort to save them, and once they disbanded, it turns out that's exactly what it was. I think they could have turned out much better if Jellyfish had promoted them better. If you didn't know, Doyeon from Kep1er is also under Jellyfish, so I'm wondering what's gonna happen with her, knowing how Jellyfish treated Gugudan. There was actually a period in time where I thought something was gonna happen because they debuted several subunits, but that didn't amount to anything. I'll cover those subunits later in the video, but for now, Gugudan as a group can stay in pretty good. Rest in peace, Gugudan, you are missed. A couple of months ago, WJSN would be a couple of tiers lower, but today I'm putting them in iStan because recently I've been getting much more into them and have been considering full-on standing. Most people say that they're the most successful post-IOI group, besides Chungha, but she's not really a group. And I think it's because Starship had the right idea in terms of their management and their concept. Yeonjung isn't really the focus of the group, although how can any member be the focus when they start with 13 of them? But even now, there are members who are arguably more famous than her, so I think Starship did something good there. WJSN's space and then fairy concept has made it so they're a lot more sonically consistent than other groups. Even now, when they want to do something different, they debut subunits for that. And in my opinion, that's the correct way to do subunits. Jellyfish should take notes. They have one of my favorite discographies among active girl groups, with some of my favorite B-sides being Pantomime, Last Dance, and Bebe. Both Unnatural and Secret were among my most played songs last year. I hope they continue what they're doing, both with the subunits and the full group releases. I was close to putting her in the Who tier, but her releases are more suited to the average tier. Sejeong is not unfamous. In fact, she's very famous, which is why Jellyfish gave up on Gugudan and decided it would be better if she promoted solo instead. And the solo stuff she makes, while doing decently on the charts, isn't my favorite. My favorite title track of hers is Warning, and it has a quite different vibe from her other releases like Plant and Whale, so basically the rest of her releases haven't been the best for me. Good for her that she has a thriving solo career, but it's unfortunate that her solo career couldn't coexist with Gugudan. The only bad thing, and I mean the only bad thing, about Pristin is that they disbanded. So, of course, I'll put them in iStan. I'm sure if they were still around, I would be standing them. They only had 2 releases, but all of what they did, from the music to the concept to basically everything, was so perfect to me. I even liked their B-sides, with Black Widow being one of my favorite songs during 2020. Pristin was doing Teen Crush before it was cool, but no one remembers nowadays because they were supremely, and I want to emphasize that, supremely mismanaged by Pledis. How does a group go from Rookie of the Year to disbanded within 2 years? For those unfamiliar, and I'm going to tell you the entire story because everybody needs to know this, there was a member, Kyla, who was basically fat-shamed and got a lot of hate on top of being injured. This led her to go on hiatus, and so did the rest of the group. There was a subunit, Pristin V, and they had a girl crush concept, and I really enjoyed that, but they never had any comebacks. And then, well, the group was so inactive that they disbanded in 2019, and most of the members went to other companies. It's a tragic story, and I maintain that they would have been one of the top groups today if they had continued with their concept and gotten consistent comebacks. I would tell everyone to stream Wee Woo, but also, I don't want to give Pledis money, so it's up to you. R.I.P. Pristin. After all the sob stories and disbanded groups, I'm happy to put Chungha in Amazing. Besides WJSN, she is probably the most successful post-IOI debut, probably inspiring the slew of post-izone solos that I'll discuss later. Chungha didn't have the best debut in my opinion. It really lacked any, It really lacked any flavor. But throughout the years, she just got better and better, and now she has this style that I'm really into. I think a lot of you would agree that she really got good during Roller Coaster era, and even though Gotta Go wasn't my favorite, I've liked most of her stuff since then, especially Snapping and Dream of You. Chungha is really someone who did the right thing going solo. After all, she's the complete package. The amazing tier really suits her, and I'm looking forward to what she'll make in the future. Okay, so these are the random subunits from Gugudan that I mentioned. They're pretty different musically and with the concept, but in terms of what Jellyfish wanted out of them, they're exactly the same. They realized Gugudan was too big for them to give Sejeong and Mina all the lines, so they made subunits with those members so they could do the same thing, but it wouldn't look so bad. Both these subunits have summer concepts, and the songs are catchy, sure, but it feels so random I don't feel right putting these subunits anywhere other than a low tier. They were just random cash grabs, and that's what they feel like. Also, the Ice Chew music video is just disturbing, and I kid you not, I felt bad for the ice creams. Just go watch it and you'll see what I mean. I think there were some good ideas here, and like I said, the songs aren't bad, but all in all, these subunits are just meh. Weki Meki is a group that doesn't seem amazing at first, but when you look at them closer, they deserve the amazing tier. Sure, their debut was not the strongest, but with their first comeback, La La La, they really stepped it up. At first, they suffered from the same problems as Gugudan, which was that the IOI members yoojung and doyeon got all the lines. That stayed the same for a few years, but ever since Dazzle Dazzle, I think things have turned around for the better. From oopsie to cool, they found a consistent sound and concept that suits them, and much like WJSN, that's what makes me like them. Their last comeback, Siesta, wasn't my favorite, but I think if Fantagio can scrape together enough money to give them comebacks at a rate faster than one per year, they can go somewhere, especially since they've been getting more international attention lately. They really should be more popular than they are right now. Of course, this list wouldn't be complete without IZ*ONE themselves, and I'm putting them in amazing as well. IZ*ONE lacked the consistency I've been praising, but I think what they did come out with was good enough to get this tier. Mnet took what they learned from IOI and 101 and did a lot of right things, including the longer contract and the well-funded debut. I think they would have had at least one more comeback if the whole vote rigging scandal hadn't happened. Am I happy it was rigged? No, but we did get a nice group out of it, so I won't complain too much. My favorite songs from them are Airplane and Sequence, while my favorite comebacks are Panorama and Fiesta. They really took the elegant concept and stuck with it, no matter the type of music they're releasing, which was great because I think elegant is one of the few concepts that all the members could work with. While I wish they had another comeback or two, I think in hindsight, their entire run as a group was pretty great. I like Somi a lot as a person, and I think she's a good solo artist, but as a whole, I'm putting her in average. Nothing she's ever done has blown me away, and in fact, before 2021, she wasn't really doing much either. Every time she comes back, I always get really into whatever she's released, like I'll play it on repeat, but then I'll forget about it in a couple of months. The only song of hers that has stayed on my playlists consistently is Out of My Head, which is impressive considering she actually self-produced that one. I'm happy she's getting success lately and isn't the flop people were making her out to be when she debuted, but I think she could improve musically. Much like Somi, Eunbi's solo doesn't really have longevity for me and is gonna go in average. Initially, I liked her concept and I was excited to see what she was gonna come out with, because she was the first IZ*ONE member to debut. and I think that the song really suited the concept, and I enjoyed the performances too, but that doesn't mean it's good. I don't really like her whispery vocals, and I don't like the jazzy instrumental either. Unfortunately, I only have one comeback to judge her on, and considering that Willem sold Chaewon's contract, I don't know if they're doing well enough financially to give her another one soon. I hope she'll do something fun in her next comeback, if it ever happens. I'm rooting for her. It might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I like what she's doing, and I think she should be in the pretty good tier. Glassy is a fun song, even the drop is pretty good, and I listened to the mini album and it wasn't terrible. I love Yuri's voice, especially in the bridge. Concept-wise, it might have been a little similar to Eunbi's debut, but that's okay because that was one of the things I actually liked from there. The blue dress she wears is so pretty and makes me think of Cinderella, which is fitting considering the comeback is called Glassy. I wasn't sure if I would rather she be in a group or go solo, but I think solo was the right choice for her. I'm not sure how well I can justify this considering they only just debuted, but I'm putting them in the I Stan tier. I didn't think I would, but I actually liked both 11 and Take It. 11 is such a catchy song, and I'm glad they went with the concept they did. That being said, it is a little suspect that they're doing this with a 14-year-old in the group, but I don't want to put too much judgment on the group themselves for all that, because I do think that the group as a whole is well-rounded. Because IVE is the first post-IZ*ONE group, not a solo artist, and it has not one but two IZ*ONE members in it, I was afraid Starship would do something like Weki Meki, where only Yoojung and Wonyoung got any lines or screen time. But IVE is a well-sized group so that the IZ*ONE members don't outshine everyone, and I think the members Starship picked to go along with them make that work. Judging by Starship's history with WJSN, I guess I should have had more faith in them in that regard. When all the other IZ*ONE debuts have been solos, I'm just happy to have a new group, and I think I'm biased towards them for that reason. Not afraid to admit it, it's just true. IVE is the group that I think has the most potential for the future, considering both their company and the members. I hate to say it, but I didn't even know she debuted until I started researching for this video, so I'm putting her in the Who tier. Of all the IZ*ONE members, I genuinely thought she was least likely to start releasing music. In fact, I thought she was gonna do acting or something. She did improve over her time in IZ*ONE, but I still didn't know if she was ready for the stage, especially as a solo artist. So it makes sense that she didn't really do any promotions or stages for her solo debut. I actually didn't think her mini was that bad, even though there were ballads that I wasn't the biggest fan of. But she's still in this tier because I question whether she is actually a K-pop idol, or if she's just releasing music because she's already famous and feels like she has to. She seems to be really consistent posting vlogs and whatnot, so that's another reason why I'm questioning her releasing music. Just do the vlogs, girl. You look like you're having fun. I wonder if she'll do any promotions if and when she releases something new. Yet another solo debut by an IZ*ONE member, but this one goes in the amazing tier. If you watched my January review video, linked in the card, you'll know that I quite liked her debut, especially the concept, which I thought suited her quite well. Out of the mini albums from the IZ*ONE solos, hers had the best hit rate for me, as I liked all of the songs and added most of them to my playlists. As a solo artist, I don't know how she'll do in the future because I don't usually see that many solo artists with concepts like hers, but maybe that's good because she has a distinguishing factor. Unlike with Yuri and Eunbi's debuts, I saw more people standing Yena only after the debut came out, as opposed to already knowing about her before. She's my favorite solo debut so far, but there are still plenty of members left to debut, so you never know. I think out of the ones that are left to debut, I'm most excited for the Source Music girl group with Sakura and Chaeyeon. Then again, that's just a rumor, but maybe people in the future tell me if that actually happens. I also think that Chaeyeon might debut solo, so we'll have to see about that. It's interesting how most of the izone members are debuting solo, as opposed to only Chungha doing it after IOI. The companies clearly saw what was going on with Chungha and thought, oh, this will work for their members. But now I'm worried there are too many solo debuts, that people will get tired of them. The fact that IVE, the only group to debut so far, is doing the best both sales and charting wise shows a total reversal of what happened with IOI. And hopefully IVE doesn't end up like Pristin in having a successful debut, but not much beyond that. Only time will tell. What I do know is that everyone has something to love among the groups in this tier list. Comment below how you would rank all these groups and solo artists, especially which groups are your favorites. And do you have any predictions for future debuts? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!